It all comes down to this, the last prep, the last glance before we get to actual draft night. What could it look like? Our final mock starting right now on Locked On Chiefs.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome back, draft fans. We're brought to you today by LinkedIn. You can get the qualified candidates that you want to talk to right now, fast and free, over at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. Terms and conditions apply. But we are bringing it to you today as our last prep, our last go-through. It's late, the night before the draft, and we're going to hit it all for you. What scheme fits go in, how to get the guys that we think they need to have, and what does this final mock look like? A lot of rumors going around today. We'll react to some of that as the board falls. You can find all of our information, all of our work, Chris, over at KC Chiefs Corner. You can get that Substack. Go get subscribed there. You can find my board out there now for free on my Substack at NFL33.com. That is the primary post right on the front. You can download the PDF of my draft board that we will use on and off as we do our coverage. That's for free. And then you can get the draft guide at rogueapc.com. All the content, I'll be live tomorrow on RGR Football for the entire first round. You can do all of that. And if you want that much more, when something crazy happens, if they do a pre-draft trade, you'll find it at 816-357-8781. So with that in mind, we bring up the magic machine that's going to tell us what the future might hold. And we get into this mock draft. And as we pull that up, we're going to set this up pretty standard for what we're looking for. And we're going to tack this as, we'll slow it down a little bit so we have a chance to pause it when we need to take a look at the first round with even split emphasis on positional value versus needs. So as we start this off, what are you looking for?
Just trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen. At this point, it's just a matter of who's going to be available.
Okay. That makes sense. Starts out defense. Cam Ward actually goes third to the New York Giants with Hunter and Carter off the board early. Mason Graham, the first DT. Campbell, Membu go at the offensive tackle spot. And then we come back. Colson Loveland goes number 11. I think that's a reach, but that's, hey, half likely to happen. You never know. Mike Green, Jahad Campbell, and Will Johnson. And then the linebacker, Jalen Walker. So a lot of edge early. We're stopped here at 16. Trying to see if it's something that we want to attack right here. So we have defensive tackles available. We have offensive tackles available. We have wide receivers available. What does that do to you versus the cost of moving here at 16?
What is Arizona willing to take? So 16, you can get 16 for what?
It would take likely 66 as a throw-in plus 133 or all the sevenths maybe, and that is a 50-50 proposition.
Yeah, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be looking to give up all that to move up, not to 16.
Agreed.
I would say there's probably 3 guys still on their board at this point, and I just don't see them going all the way up to 16. I don't see them really getting into the top 20 if I'm being honest. But I also don't want to try to make a pick at this point or try to make a trade at this point because you don't know who's going to be available.
Exactly. So we'll let this run, say, 2 or 3 more picks down to the Buccaneers and then pause?
Yep.
Okay. And I missed it. Luther Burden goes 19 to the Buccaneers. The Broncos are on the clock. Now, the Broncos are rumored to be wanting to trade up, so they might not even be in this position in reality. But in those picks, in the meantime, from when we paused, both Walter Nolan and Kelvin Banks are off the board, as is Luther Burden. It's at 20 to the Broncos. I don't know that they'd trade up with us, and I don't know that they'd be there. So what do you do next?
Yeah, I don't think you're trading with the Broncos.
Agreed.
I honestly don't know that you could get a pick until 23, if we're being honest about it. But
yep.
I would try the Steelers.
You would try the Steelers. Okay.
I still don't know that you're going to be able to get that, but
it looks like if we split, we go up 31 to 21, and then we go down from 66 to 83. Looks like they're willing to play with that kind of compensation. We might be able to sneak back a later round pick. Maybe we can move some of the sevenths, make it advantageous.
Slow it all the way down and do the Broncos pick and see who they take.
Okay. And it is a Mekabuka.
Okay. At this point, I am trying to go for an offensive tackle because I think that's the only position that the premium position that you'd be trading up for at this point.
And do you have a target in mind?
Yep. Simmons.
It is Simmons. Okay. So we can give that a shot. We'll offer them trade up for us in the first, up 10, and then we would move back 17 in the second. Then we do a flop of the sevenths.
To be clear,
first picks.
They know way more about the medical than we do, so maybe we'll find out more. But as of right now, I'm going to assume that the medical is going to clear. So
I think it may. There's rumor Simmons might be available at 31 at this point, a day before the draft. But
there you go.
That's all that we can do. We were able to get that trade done, and Simmons is obviously there, as is Kenneth Grant. Matthew Golden would probably be the next wide receiver available. Those are the top needs. But I think I agree with you. If we did this and we went through this with an offer from the Packers to move back, I would have to think that Simmons was the target.
Yep. I don't think that you make a move. Simmons is coming off the board if you do.
Yeah, I have to think so as well. So we will put Simmons on this roster. I know we've done that before, folks, but it does make sense. I think it may be the pick if he falls anyway, and we'll let this churn down and see if we want to do something else miraculous to move around the board when we get back from this.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for 50% off your first year. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge. It's electric in the arena, and with Game Time, you can be a part of it without the last-minute stress of ticket hunting. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when the demand is sky high. Prices on the app usually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Here's why I use Game Time. You get priority. You get last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, comedies, concerts, and theater, and much, much more. The all-in pricing means no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
On to the second pick. Now, what we've done is proceed through this scenario, and we're sitting. I paused the clock on 26 just to come up with a plan. I don't think the Chiefs trade back into the first after they've already moved up. I think that that's just too much to ask for. So I'm going to make this go just a little bit quicker. But I could possibly see if they really felt that the blue chips at each round were at the top of it, maybe they want to trade back in to the upper half of the second round. Would that be appetizing?
I don't think so. At this point, you've already traded back to, you've got rid of 66. I think it's going to take all of 95 and probably 133 to move up if you're going to try to go that high.
Probably. Like, I'm looking at the Bears, can we get a sweetheart deal? What would it look like? You have to give up that 83 and the 63 to go to 41. That's pretty rich. We could maybe get something back, but it wouldn't be much. Would they do it for 95? No, they would not. at this point, I would think it'd have to be sweetheart deals if we were going to get anything, and that would mean either ex-friends or ex-employees of the Chiefs organization. So do we just let it ride to 63?
I would.
Okay.
If you make a move in the first round, you're likely going to be sticking at most of the others, or at least closer to sticking, not necessarily trading up almost a full round.
Agreed. So safeties go off the board. A couple of linebackers.
Oh, there's your boy.
Which one? Schlesinger goes. Kyle Williams goes. Demetrius goes. So you are staring straight ahead at options here that include Caleb Johnson, third-tier running back on my board, but some people really like him. And my guy, Elijah Arroyo, who I do think has a lot of potential in this offense. I just want to take a look in what I think is becoming a little bit more common, and maybe it's because the Chiefs had a call with him, but it looks like Travion Henderson went above Quinshon Judkins. Does that give you any pause or any interest?
No, I'm still not interested.
Okay.
At a running back at this point.
Okay, fair enough. Probably best player on my board is going to be Arroyo, but I just want to double check. Andrew Makuba would be very interesting as well. A guy that has some ball skills, can play at the back. We already covered the offensive tackle side, so we don't need any of that. But when you look at the defensive tackle position, I don't see a whole lot here that really turns my gears. So I think it's okay to go to offense if we need to. We can come back at 83 in 20 picks and try to pick up somebody on the defensive side, either at edge or at DI, and kind of go with the best available at that point. Does that work?
Yeah, I think you go offense at this point.
All right, then Elijah Arroyo, welcome to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And now you got more weapons. And Patrick just talked about it the other day, trying to get back those chunk explosive plays. He is a guy from the tight end position that can help you do that. He's not going to be the best blocker, but he is going to stretch the field for you. So we come back onto the clock at 83, one of the picks that we made in a trade. Now we have an option here. There is a halfback that is interesting. RJ Harvey is a top 100 pick on my board as well as this one. That's already there. You look at the safety Ransom. This is a range that I could see him going as well. We do have 95 and 12 more picks, excuse me. And we do have a couple of edge options here from Jack Sawyer on down to looks like Ashton. As we've talked about, Jordan Birch is getting a little bit of love the last 48 hours. We'll see what's coming there. What turns your gears right here?
You don't really have any good defensive tackles or D ends at this point. It's kind of already picked over. Corner is already also looking like it's already picked over.
What do you think of Jack Sawyer on this defense? A guy that reminds me of Max Crosby when he came out of Michigan State. I don't know that I could see him getting there, but it would be an interesting experiment. Had that giant play in the national championship game.
That's a heck of a comparison. Comparing anybody to Max Crosby would make you want to have them in your defense.
Well, I'm sorry if I influenced you there, but hey, call him like I see him. I'm trying to not go back to the well on offense, but that looks like where the value is right now.
Then you suck it up and you take the value. If you think Harvey is your guy, then you go and you take him and you're good with it. Giddens is still sitting there, but he's going to be there probably. May not be there at 95, but could be close.
Yeah, it is a definite possibility. She's had a visit with Harold Fanning, but with the selection of Arroyo, that takes him off the board. If we wanted to double up at offensive line, developmental guys, Cameron Williams, I've spoken about him before. I do think he has the ability to grow into a starting right tackle. 1 year of experience, long arms. He fits the profile, and I think he's got a lot of ceiling above where he is now. Charles Grant, very similar story on the opposite side, but he is a lot more raw. He would be a development player. Wyatt Bylum, I think he goes inside at guard as Embo does, and I think Anthony Belton, he's a toss-up of whether he can stay at tackle or not for me.
It sure looks like the value is at running back at this point.
Okay, so RJ Harvey, let's double check who else is available, or Giddens or Devin Neal. I know where the heartstrings pull here, but I do think that Harvey is the best available on my board as well as it is here. Are you comfortable with that?
Yep.
All right, then fire away. RJ Harvey comes to the backfield, brings a little bit of burst, a little bit of power. I like what he does, and I think it would be a good complement and wouldn't be as diverse or a singled out role like maybe if we did go Giddens or Travion Henderson, who I do think are more likely to play on third down than first. So
And
back at 95.
You have the ability to still get Jack Sawyer.
Yeah. And I think that's probably good value here, better value, certainly 12 picks later. Adds to the defensive line. Doesn't matter that it doesn't happen to be inside. There are a lot of tweeners here, but let's double check the defensive interior players. Caldwell, we've talked about Ty Robinson 1,000 times, and Pecos. I think we're probably good here unless we wanted to trade back because the Vikings are offering probably 97 and 139 or at least 187 to move back 2 picks. That's probably the only thing I would entertain. I'm likely to just stick and pick here.
Yeah, I'd stick and pick.
Okay. Jack Sawyer joins the band, and now we are on our way down to 33, and we're going to get to day 3 coming up next. As a small business owner, your work doesn't end when the clock hits 5. Your business is always on your mind, which means it's time to hire. You need a partner that works just as hard as you do. That's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it free and easy to post for free on your profile with your network and get qualified candidates that you're looking for all in one place. So post your job. The new feature can even help you write job descriptions and then quickly get in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. And here's the pro tip. Add the hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture to double your reach to qualified candidates. No wonder 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find the high quality hires right away. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Now, as we move to day 3, we're on the clock at 1:33. Yet, for some reason, there's 8 offers out here for someone to move in and try to get some value at the bottom of the 4th round, which I think in this draft still has significant value. We've got offers at 135. That's moving back 2, moving back 9 to 142, 11 to 144, and 16 back to 149. Does any of that interest you, given what we see on the board here? Joshua Farmer's been in for a visit with the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe Jalen Rivers has as well. Isaiah Bond's been in. Obviously, a lot of off-field problems there. I don't know at this level whether they're willing to overlook that as much as they would be with somebody with first-round potential.
Yeah, looking at this, it's a question of if you go back to our picks, we've got 4 picks already ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This comes down to how many do you think are going to make the roster? Because to me, if you move back, you're picking up more picks, and it's a waste if you don't think you're going to have 7 guys that can make the roster on this roster or for this team. So, I mean, if you could get a pick next year, maybe, but at this point, I kind of would stick where you are and go.
Okay, that's fair. So on the defensive side, it comes down to 2 players that I like. Nothing against Cameron Jackson, but I do think Joshua Farmer's a better option here. And I would say Jalen Reed is a guy in the bottom of round 4 that has the ability to possibly play some downs for you, most likely on special teams initially, but I do think that it's there. And then if we make a selection here, we could try to trade back up with our last 2 remaining picks.
Yeah, I think you go with the first defensive lineman, Josh Farmer.
Okay.
Good defensive tackle. You have enough safeties at this point. No reason to really continue throwing at this level into that room.
And we know the Chiefs have at least mild interest because they've had him in for a visit. And that sometimes is really all you need to know if they're willing to do something. Doesn't look like Patriots want to play ball, or the Jets, or the Panthers. So we may just be picking here, coming up at 185, and then again at 226, because it doesn't look like teams want to move out. So I think I'm okay with that if you are.
Yep.
So on down to 185, our current pick, coming up here early in the 6th round. Not currently on the Chiefs' actual board. We had to do some machinations to get here. This is, I think, an athleticism-based selection. At this point, you're looking for somebody who can either play teams for you or has some trait that makes you overcome or look to develop. Guys that stand out here would be Bringing Stool, the tight end from Clemson. I know we have quite a few at this point, but I do think he a guy that could grow into something. I like Bryce Campbell from Kansas, who I do think needs a year. I think the guy that stands out to me most is most likely Riley Mills, the Notre Dame D tackle. And yes, we've taken 2, but I don't think there's any reason to say we can't take more.
Well, we haven't taken 2 defensive tackles. Sawyer's an edge.
Okay, Sawyer's an edge. You're right. So, hey, I think that's perfectly legit. I'm just looking to see if there's anybody else that stands out. The tackle Hinton, I think, is interesting. He's going to be around here, maybe even in the 7th round. DK from Florida, the wide receiver. A lot of folks like him trying to make an impression on a defense. Anything stand out to you?
No, I think you go with defensive tackle and you just go with it from there.
Okay. Riley Mills, Notre Dame, coming down. That's a value pick. That could be the Trey Smith pick of this draft if it comes around. I think it has that potential. We'll just have to see how the development goes. We're on the clock now at 2:26 to round out what we have left in this draft. We did trade away the 2 7ths, the 2 deeper 7ths anyway. And so we're into this, and this is just a free-for-all. We actually have a trade offer, which I think is crazy because I'm not trading with the Chargers at this rate. We want speed. We want explosiveness. Is that what we're looking for? Do you have a criteria at this point? It's likely somebody that you don't think you'll be able to sign as a UDFA.
Yeah, no, I don't have any criteria other than I just think that this is going to be a highly athletic special teams guy.
Agreed. Now, straight line speed, Bo Collins is probably the best on the board here. I'm looking at change of direction. Might be Muhammad. Might be Jimmy Horn Jr., the wide receiver. A couple of options there, but that's just corner and wide receiver. Lindenberg has some fans out there. The linebacker from Minnesota. Would this be a good place for a deep quarterback, developmental type guy? Would you be interested in that?
I'm always interested in the development of quarterback. The Chiefs never seem to be, though.
True. That's fair enough.
I mean, that's the reality.
I
like the thought process of going with Jimmy Horn Jr. just because of the name, but
yeah. Oh, my guy Teddy Buchanan's here as well. A Sorensen-like nickel linebacker that really is built like a safety. He's got the hair. Played at Cal. Looks like my guy Carson Steele. Like he might be the twin on defense. Keaton Crawford is here, a safety that I've taken a couple times because I think, especially in split zones, he's a guy that has nothing to hold back, and he's just raw and needs to be taught how to control his eyes and maybe play a single high at some point as well. That's another option. Let's see.
I think you go with go back up, Teddy Buchanan, because I think you're still looking at a special teams guy, and I mean, we haven't really gone linebacker. It's a position that's they're always going to be looking for more athletic players.
Yep,
and that really kind of fits.
Okay.
And that's the only type of guy that's probably going to make the roster at this point. Is one of the back end guys that's going to be a core special teamer, and that's all he's going to do for you for the most part.
Got to bring the athleticism at that point in the draft. So this is how it comes out. Josh Simmons, we traded up to get him, but we did put him on the roster. Chiefs might not have to do that in reality tomorrow. Elijah Royal comes back in the 2nd at 63. RJ Harvey, the running back from UCF at 83. Jack Sawyer on the edge. Then come back in day 3 with Joshua Farmer, Riley Mills on the defensive line, and finish it up with special teamer extraordinaire Teddy Buchanan, a guy that I think Chiefs fans would actually really like. PFF thinks we did terribly. Oh, no, they gave us a B+, so it's not that bad. The only thing that they would have said Let's draft Malachi Starks instead of Josh Simmons. Well, I disagree.
Yeah, positional value. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. That is
that way.
our final mock. This is the best scenario that we can come up with at this point. What do you guys think? What do you want to see? Your takeaways just might be right as we are under 24 hours to the actual NFL draft. Please make sure you like, sub, hit the bell. Be ready for it. We'll have all kinds of clips and post first round show for you tomorrow. Do not miss that. You'll see me live over on RGR Football for the entirety of the first round until we get to the breakdown show. So don't miss that as well. I'm looking forward to it, Chris. Do you think, bottom line, gut reaction, are we watching them pick at 31?
No.
Okay.
I'd say less than 5% chance they're picking at 31.
Okay. I like that. I hope that you're right. I'm crossing my fingers, toes, and everything else.
But I would also say that there's less than probably a 25% chance that they don't pick on the first day.
Fair.
So I think if they're
just
picking,
doesn't seem to want to go pickless on Thursdays, right?
I think that they're going to be moving up, but that's just my guess.
Okay. Keep your ears peeled, folks. If we get wind of a trade up, trade down, whatever it's going to happen, we will let you know on the text line, as well as here. If we need to break in, we will. Have a great day in preparation. Maybe go in early so you can get off early so you can be ready for that draft. We will have you taken care of for everything after that. Like, sub, hit the bell, get the draft guide from rogueapc.com. Use the code LOC. Get my draft board for NFL33.com. Check out Chris at KC Chiefs Corner. Have a great night, and we will talk to you for the draft.